Hello Year 10, this is a quick video to help you answer your 200 word task on Old Fezziwig. Now the question is, what does Dickens suggest about the rich? Now interestingly with this question is, you've got Old Fezziwig, who is Fezziwig? Now if you're struggling to remember who Fezziwig is, of course you can always turn to your knowledge book. I'm just looking for the knowledge book on my table. And in your knowledge book you have got a page for A Christmas Carol with all the characters. Now Fezziwig is, where is he? He's somewhere here. Yeah, he's right there at the bottom. Okay, so he's towards the back of the knowledge book on characters. And it says that he is Scrooge's boss when an apprentice. He celebrated Christmas with his employees. Now, he's symbolic of business owners who support and care for their workers, and he's compassionate, jolly, and warm. So, when we look at Fezziwig here, you've got actually something to do with power. Because Fezziwig is an employer, he has got actually that power to support, make the lives of his employees better or actually worse. Ultimately, as he dictates how much he's going to pay them, he has got the power for them to lead happy lives or bad lives or sad lives, and also the way that he treats them whilst they're working. So one of the things that you get here is this idea of actually being the rich are quite powerful when we think about Old Fezziwig. So we've got here, Old Fezziwig laid down his pen and looked up at the clock. He rubbed his hands, adjusted his capacious waist, laughed all over himself, from his shoes to his organ of benevolence. Now, one of the things that I like about Old Fezziwig is that you have got this potential, like look at this description here, his organ of benevolence, from his shoes to his organ of benevolence, that the rich have the potential to be kind and generous and good. And that for Fezziwig, like an organ is something that keeps you alive. So in Fezziwig, that is actually part of himself, of his identity, of who he is as a person. So he might be rich, he might be very rich, but that does not stop him from being kind, generous, and good. And you might want to use the word philanthropic here. To his community. So in that wealth, he finds the time to support and take care of his employees. Now, in the question it says, look at the extract and then presents the rich throughout the novella. Now, whilst Fezziwig is a rich, kind, generous person, in the rest of the novella, we maybe find other people that are not so kind and are not so generous. So we might decide to talk about Scrooge here as a foil. As a foil to Fezziwig. Sorry, Scrooge. I should have written Scrooge. Now, Scrooge is actually misanthropic. He's parsimonious. And that is a great opportunity to talk about actually how they contrast. Scrooge is a rich person that is completely the opposite of Fezziwig. However, there is some aspects of Fezziwig's description that do remind us of other rich people that appear in the novel that are also actually generous. So when it describes about him adjusting his capacious waistcoat, it suggests that Fezziwig he's not thin and shriveled, that actually he's got some weight behind him. And that actually reminds us of the portly gentlemen who were the charity workers, at the start of the novel. And they themselves actually are also philanthropic. Oh, sorry. I just can't spell today. Philanthropic. There you go. Okay, so I suppose two things that you've got here through Fezziwig and the rich in general. So because this is only meant to be a 200-word task, you'd still want to use Petal and maybe analyze things to develop your response. So one of the things I might say that Dickens is saying about the rich is that they got power, they can have the status to improve the lives of their, if you're thinking about employers, their employees. Again, power, the rich have the power to be a positive influence on their communities. They can bring people together. Like Fezziwig's party is not only for his employees, but is for his whole community. So that they've got this potential. Like the rich have this potential. Not all rich people are bad. Okay, there are rich people that do give, and then there are rich people that do well. And it's good to actually be talking like that as well, because a lot of people are always going to be that negative about the rich from a Christmas Carol perspective. But actually, Dickens is not always saying that. Like, he's not saying that having money is a bad thing. Like, Fred is wealthy, but he's kind and he's generous. Yes, he's not as wealthy as Scrooge, but he's wealthier than Bob Cratchit and lives a comfortable life. And I suppose the next thing that you have is that ultimately what we have through Scrooge, so Scrooge, he presents or symbolizes the rich that don't care. And have become corrupted by money. That their morals, their identity has been corrupted by money. And you get that because not only do you have Scrooge, of course, but you have the businessmen that talk about Scrooge in a horrible way when Scrooge has died. So you've got a few rich people that are not very kind and not very generous. So let's see what you can say in terms of what is Dickens suggesting about the rich, their potential and their power, and use some of these quotes to help you. Okay, thank you.